Hey guys, welcome to Hurting Little Cast of the Glory of God. I'm Sarah. This is Mark. We have 8 kids at home, 10 kids total, and this is our third attempt to make this video. We've only gotten 2 minutes in each time, so we'll see how this one goes. Okay, so we are getting to do this video because I have a baby asleep on my lap, but he's a little grumpy tonight, so he might at any moment wake up and cry. And the other kids, except for the 2 oldest, are all in their bedroom playing, doing puzzles, that type of thing. But sometimes fighting happens, so we will see where we get. Okay, so we're making this video because we recently got back from a trip to Tennessee. We went and saw our daughter, who has a baby who is 10 weeks younger than our youngest baby. His name is Justice. He is a cutie, and you can go check out their channel at This Blessed Life.
This Blessed Life.
Anyway, we live on a very limited income, which we are totally comfortable with, so I'm not saying this in any way bad. I'm just telling people where we are. We live on a very limited income because Mark is out of work because of a disability. So he does not have a job. We also homeschool, so we have the ability to travel when we choose to, not having to go by people's schedules, and I know that that isn't what everyone has.
If you're really interested in all of our family finances, we have a family finances how we make it work video, which has been quite popular lately. Because we're just kind of very open and honest, and we understand we have a unique circumstance in that I don't work, and yet we still have some income. But these principles applied when I was working full-time, when we were in full-time ministry, not having any income. And all the various stages we've been in the last 25 years.
And actually, these all applied for both of our families growing up. So how did your family travel growing up?
My family growing up, I don't remember traveling far. I do remember coming down to see Grammy Haley down here, and she used to live in Rockland when we lived up in Lemoyne, so it was about a 2-hour drive. And I remember riding down there to see her, and she liked to cook, and she made Dad wool socks. Like, she made Dad 3 pairs of wool socks every year that she knitted or crocheted or both, whatever it is. Anyhow, so we traveled down here to see my grandmother, and that was a couple hour drive.
And pick up the socks.
And pick up socks and, spare gallon jars of pickles. If you know, you know. Anyway.
And cheese.
And all sorts of things. And Grammy made fudge, too. So anyhow, we would drive down here to visit my family 2 hours away. So we did have enough, we had a car and everything, and we did drive places. But I don't remember traveling out of state. But my mother tells me that when I was really young, we went down to Connecticut, which is, we live in Maine. So it's 2 hours to the border, and then, Connecticut, Stafford Springs area. So I don't know, it's a 5-hour drive, 6-hour drive. That's quite a ways. And Mom tells the story about us 3 boys, because I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Every time they would stop, like, our heads would pop up from under the seat. Are we there yet kind of deal. We didn't have car seats back then. We didn't have seatbelts either. And we're all still here.
Okay. So we put our kids in car seats and we use seatbelts.
That's ridiculous.
Just before the YouTube Nazis.
I'm just trying to be a child of the 70s moment for a minute there.
Okay. So anyway, more about or do you not really have
so like traveling? No, I don't remember much of that kind of thing.
My family traveled a lot. So I was born in Ohio, and then my family moved to Maine when I was almost 7. My grandparents on both sides lived in Ohio. So we went out to Ohio at least once a year to see my grandparents.
Which is a 950-mile trip one way.
Yeah. And we almost always drove that. There are a few times we got there a different way, but out of all my years of living at home for the first 18 years of my life, we went almost every year driving.
And we've been out there many times since we've been married.
We also went
many times.
Yeah. We also went more often than once a year sometimes. One way that we would make it work is my parents would drive halfway, which is Pennsylvania. My mom's parents would drive to Pennsylvania and pick us up. And my sister and I would travel back to Ohio with them and stay for a few weeks. And then we'd do the same thing on the way back. Or my parents would come out the rest of the way to be able to visit people for a short time while they had work off, and then we'd come back. And my dad's whole family, or almost my dad's whole family, lived in Ohio, about an hour from my mom's parents, who we usually stayed with. We would go up and see my dad's family, staying with aunt and uncle up there, and visiting everybody in the area up there. Yeah. So when we went to Ohio, we almost never stayed anywhere until the later years when my grandparents got older and moved into a different place. But up until then, like as a kid, we would always go to their house and we would sleep on the floor or the couches or whatever. Or we'd go to my aunt and uncle's house and we'd sleep in the back bedroom. Like, I remember lots of trips of doing that. And when we would go travel to Ohio, we would normally eat food just with, like, we would go with my grandparents. Like, I don't know what my parents had worked out with my grandparents for while my sister and I were there, food wise, but we would go and we'd get food at the store and we'd go home and cook the food. So it was like cooking at home. Not that we never went out, but that wasn't a regular occurrence in our vacationing. But my family did travel more than just that. But we very rarely went places to see things. We went places to see people. So in my growing up years, my mom's family lives all over the country, and sometimes they lived all over the world. And we would get together someplace. But it would depend on the year, but a lot of times we would go to someone's house. Like, I remember going to my aunt and uncle's house in North Carolina, and the whole family came there for Thanksgiving one year. That same, different house, but that same couple hosted us in North Carolina for Christmas, New Year's one year. We went to another aunt and uncle's house in Texas and stayed there. And during those, we may have occasionally gone out to eat, but I remember different families, because there's like 6 siblings in my mom's family, different of the siblings would take on a night to make supper. And so you were paying for your night supper, or maybe we, they all put in and then that's what the groceries were bought out of. But like, it wasn't going out to eat all the time, is what I'm saying. And so like when we were at my aunt and uncle in Texas, it was a really big house and a lot of us stayed there. There may have been other places to stay, but we stayed there in the house. In all of those situations, we stayed in that main house where people were staying. So that's how we did things as a kid. I remember very few trips where we went somewhere where we weren't going to visit family. And really the only one I can remember off the top of my head is, what's it called? Disney World. And it was because we have a friend who we've recently reconnected with. Her and her husband had a timeshare down in Florida, down in Orlando, and they took us. So it was their timeshare. We went and stayed in their timeshare. And I don't remember what we did for food and stuff on that trip because I was in like 2nd grade. It was our first year moving here to
I think my family stayed in a hotel one night.
When?
I think Mom, Bruce, maybe. We're gonna watch this video. Angela will watch it and ask Wesley. Somebody ask somebody in my family when we're watching this video. I think we went up to Presque Isle because Bill Shorey had planted a new church up there. And I think we went up there to encourage. Yes.
For people who don't know, Presque Isle,
look up Presque Isle on a map. It's like way up north. Yes, they has moose and they has snow, and that's what they
Drive to the middle of nowhere. Keep driving a little bit longer. You might hit Presque Isle.
Yeah. No, Presque Isle actually is a decent sized town, but yes, there's a hotel there. I believe it. We stayed there one night.
I've never been to Presque Isle. It's northern Maine.
She needs to come because Presque Isle is actually probably a gorgeous place.
It probably is
You'd
great.
love
I've
it.
just never been there. Okay.
Okay, so we need a new travel soon.
Okay, but we don't know anyone in Presque Isle, and this whole point is how we save money.
But we have friends.
We have
friends that are closer to that direction. Mama Bear to Many.
Yes, our friend Mama Bear to Many. Go ahead and watch their channel.
We stay with them sometimes, and they've stayed with us before too.
Yeah.
It was fun hosting all of them.
Yes.
We piled 15 extra people in our house. It was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, but we haven't gotten to what we do yet. We just do.
Well, that's part of our traveling, though, because we go up there and do the 4-hour drive to visit people.
Okay,
and
we're
see
doing
their
our life
thing.
now, our married life now.
Oh.
So since we've been married, we have not gone very many places to just go somewhere. We have gone some places
Niagara Falls.
to go somewhere on our way somewhere else.
Right.
Like we drove to Niagara Falls because we were driving to Ohio. And to get to Ohio, you either go to northern New York or southern New York. And we went to northern New York.
Well, we figured we'd check out Niagara Falls because it was like maybe a half-hour each way diversion out of a 1,000-mile trip. So it really wasn't bad. And so we, like I said, but because we were halfway across somewhere, we didn't have a camper at the time. We had to stay at a hotel somewhere. We might
That
as well take
hotel
that
was
little
bad.
diversion.
We had a pool,
Howard
and
Johnson.
the pool ate our
I'm
shorts. Like ate the swim clothes. It was so
Chlorine
bleachy.
levels are a little high.
Little high. Yeah, ate the shorts.
pH was a little off. Yeah.
That
was
anyway,
great.
That was
Forget
a long
about
time
that. That
ago.
was lots of fun ago.
So we've
been a few times actually.
Yeah. So most of our trips, we
We're going to see
go
family.
to stay with family or friends.
Or friends.
And I know that might sound weird to people, but to both of us, that is because of our upbringing, and that's how we used to travel with our families. It's just normal to go and bunk out in someone's room.
Hotels are weird. I don't know anybody. Like, Sarah's sister actually manages a hotel, but like, hotels are a foreign place to me. I don't do well with new places. I like comfortability.
Hotels are stressful for Mark.
Or like, we're going someplace, and how much time are we going to spend traveling back and forth? Oh, we're going to see this person.
But then we have to stay 45
But then we
minutes
have
from
to
their
stay 45
house.
minutes away, so now it's a whole bunch of extra money and a whole bunch of extra time and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, we've just figured out that we have a lot of friends and large family friends, and some of them come and stay with us sometimes, and sometimes we go stay with them, and,
Right.
and sometimes we get to go bounce back and forth.
Well-
But like some friends have never been to Maine, but we've been able to visit them, but they're like, we'd love to see you in Maine, we want to come see you, but why don't you come stay with us, because we can't travel right now, and
Right.
we could.
So we have had people ask on our page on our YouTube, and someone recently asked about what do we do to reciprocate for these friends.
Oh.
And the thing is, we don't reciprocate necessarily.
We don't send people
because-
money, if that was the question.
Well, I was just gonna say we don't reciprocate necessarily because as a Christian, we are looking out for each other, and sometimes we are the one wanting to, like, being able to be the blessing.
Right.
God's giving us the ability to bless somebody.
Feed someone, house
And
them, those
sometimes
kind of things,
it's God giving someone else the ability to do it for us.
Mhm.
And in these travels, we're able to, I'm not trying to say like we're great or anything, but we're able to bless people with being able to fellowship, just like when they come to us and we do it to them. But it might not be person A hosts us, so we host person A. It might be person A hosts us, and then we're able to host person B. And it's not a, if I can give to this, like, I don't think any of these people we've stayed with, please let me know if you're watching my channel and you've let us stay with you and you were doing it just so you'd get a trip to Maine. Let me know.
Then
but I don't think
come
any
visit
of my
anytime.
friends,
But you knew that. Yeah, you already knew that.
I don't know any of these friends who were doing it so that we'd give them something.
I hope that's not how we portray ourselves or how we live our lives. Is if you do X for me, then I'll do X for you in return. But rather, if we have an abundance, we'll share that. And sometimes what we have in abundance is time.
Right.
And what some people have in abundance is housing or whatever it is.
So like one family we stayed with on this trip to Tennessee, or on our way home from Tennessee actually, they have an Airbnb that they use as income for their family, but also they book it, or whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
for when their friends come into town so their friends can stay there. We are not
They
the
get to
first
show
set of
hospitality
friends.
in a unique way.
Right.
A really awesome way, actually.
We are not the first set of friends that got to stay in that
No,
place.
that's-
But their place was really nice. So if you were looking, we did a video from their house in Tennessee.
Yep.
And their place is really great. And it's a 4-bedroom, really nice in the hills in Tennessee.
Tucked up in a little holler.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful
really cute.
views of the sunrise, sunset, the mountains.
And they're
It's
great
gorgeous.
hosts. I think they're great hosts for the people that aren't even their friends.
Yes.
So go ahead and book them if you need a place. But they did that for us because they are in a state of life right now where they can't travel. And so we have known these guys for 14 years, and they have never been able to come to Maine. But they live in a place that we drive past occasionally, and so we're able to stop and see them because both of our families want the fellowship of the other family. So
Yeah.
this is how it makes it work out. We spend the time and money to drive down there, and they host us, and it's a great blessing for us.
And we love it when people do that with us, to come up and stay with us too. But less people come to Maine than
No one's
travel
traveling through Maine.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Except for all our friends this summer that went up to. We had a bunch of friends that went up to see the Anne of Green Gables houses.
Well, and Don and Cindy
Yeah.
were traveling up through here, but I think we were leaving when they were coming or something.
Yeah, we missed
So we
them.
didn't get a chance to see them.
But one of the families we stayed with on our trip down to Tennessee and then on our way back, they live in Pennsylvania, but they're originally from here. That's how we know them. And they host us as we're driving through. And that was actually like, they're like super sweet about it. They're like, if you don't pull in till 11 o'clock at night and you have to leave at 6 a.m., just come and just use us for housing. And like, they're totally okay with that.
That's super awesome.
But they have come and stayed with us before. Either all of them have stayed here for a few nights, or because they have family that lives somewhat close, they'll come down for a whole day and spend the day, and we have our meals together and all of that. So we, in turn, repay them for these people that think we're not doing that. We do this for other people. But then we have other friends who we are never able to go near them, and we just host them when they're here. So so anyway,
it works out, because when you are a person who is open to hospitality, like if you enjoy feeding people, if you enjoy housing people, if you enjoy listening to people's challenges or their praises, or just watching their children grow, like if you enjoy people, like if you're a Christian, you should enjoy at least the Christian people.
Well, and we'll try to link we have a whole hospitality series of people who have hosted us. Some of the stories are about some of the people that I'm telling you about on this video right here. We have friends in Florida who have hosted us multiple times.
I don't believe we've ever hosted them.
We've never hosted them. They've always hosted us, because we've been to Florida and they've never. The only time that they have come to Maine, we were not in Maine. Bad timing.
We were in
timing,
Tennessee,
Rachel.
as I recall.
But we've never been able to host them. But they've hosted us multiple times.
One day, you know who you are.
They're awesome. The kids would love it.
You'll get here someday.
Anyway, so we're doing all of this video to say that it doesn't have to necessarily cost a lot to go on vacation.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about the cost of vacation.
The cost of vacation. So this trip, we went to see Virginia, our daughter. So we went
to meet our grandson.
To meet our grandson, Justice. And we left here, and we were gone for
19 days.
19 days. We left on a Monday morning, and we got home on a Saturday night. So we drove from our house, taking food with us. Drove from our house to our friend's house in Pennsylvania. They hosted us and fed us all the meals the day we stayed with them. So we left here on a Monday, stayed with them all day Tuesday, and they fed us. Thank you very much. Then we left their house Wednesday morning and drove to Tennessee. In all of that, from here to Tennessee, all we stopped was to gas money and tolls.
And we each got a cup of coffee.
We each got a cup of coffee. We got coffee at a coffee, like we had to stop and use the bathroom, and we got coffee.
And we met Ronnie.
We did. I was about to say that. We got coffee because the friends we were staying with are not super morning people, and we like to leave early on trip days. So we snuck out at like 5:30. So coffee was not available.
We all planned it.
We all planned it, but coffee was not available, which is fine. I told her, don't make coffee. So we had planned our first stop, we're going to grab coffee. And it was actually really God's timing in everything, because we happened to be in the bathroom, met a lady who, I don't know, the kids started a conversation while I was in the bathroom. She has grandkids in Maine.
Little kids and thought we made help managing them.
Yeah. Saw the kids. She has grandkids in Maine. We were able to start a conversation. We were able to pray for her. She was super, super sweet. If you're watching, let us know, Ronnie. She was super sweet, and we were able to actually stop in the gas station and pray with her and get our coffees. And it was a really nice, like, it was God's timing on things. So yes, from here to there, we got coffees, paid tolls, got gas.
That was it was less than $4 for the coffee.
So we got to Tennessee. We had taken all of our food with us for that time. We got to Tennessee and went to Virginia and Waylon's house, where we stayed for 12 days. During that time, Virginia fed us the first morning, and then she fed us a snack that night too. The first night we got there, she had made some praline, like mini praline pies. Pecan pies.
Pecan pie.
What?
Almost everyone we went to made us a snack before bedtime.
Yes. So made pecan pies. So that first night she gave us a snack, and then the next day we went shopping. And we bought food, and we actually purchased the food for the household for the 12 days we were there, because we know that for Virginia and Wayland, we were just being in their space and taking up their stuff, and we wanted to be a blessing to them. So we actually paid for all the groceries while we were there. So the grocery bill in Tennessee is actually cheaper. We have a child coming. What?
Hi.
Do you need help? He can help you.
I need help.
He just needs help putting cards in a box. So it's actually cheaper to buy groceries in Tennessee because it's
Well, they have Aldi.
They have Aldi, which
And
is
it's Tennessee, not Maine. Maine.
If you live
Maine
anywhere,
food prices are ridiculous.
if you live anywhere near an Aldi, you should check it out. And yes,
Or a
Maine
BB's.
food prices are really expensive. Our friend in Pennsylvania who comes to Maine once a year is always disgusted by
Abhorred and
the prices
appalled.
because it's just a lot more expensive here. And we actually had a friend who's from Massachusetts, like Boston, near the Boston area. We were talking to the other day, and she said the Maine prices are worse. So we live in expensive costs.
Me too. That's crazy.
Live in expensive housing. So we went there and we paid for that stuff. So we we used some of her stuff from her cabinets, and then we replaced things.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like I ended up using the end of her baking powder one day, so I went to the store and bought her 2 baking powders. So we spent about as much in groceries for that 12 days that we have someone asking for snacks. We spent about as much those 12 days as we would have spent here at home.
Probably
And
$100 less.
we then also
Even
bought,
buying
well, I was
their
going to say,
groceries.
we bought her some extras
Yeah.
that we
okay.
probably would have bought from afar had we known she needed them.
Totally.
It wasn't things she needed. It was things that she had not spent the money to purchase herself, and we wanted to bless her.
It's
So-
enjoyable to get people things that they don't really need, but you just want to bless them.
So we wanted to get her a
was
better
fun.
way to clean her cast iron. So we bought her those scrapers
muffin cups.
and stuff. And we bought her some
and
muffin
some
cups.
stuff. It was fun though. It was awesome.
Thank you, Josiah. So we
And
wanted
we showed
to...
everybody the stuff that they bought for us too.
Yeah. What? You want to draw? Naomi, can you help him get drawing stuff?
No. I want to watch her.
Oh, well, then you
Oh,
can
you
watch her.
want-
That's
alright,
okay. You can
okay.
stand there and watch her. She's
Okey
playing a
dokey.
game on the Kindle,
Yep.
so he wants to watch. So anyway, while we were there, we also spent, I'm just trying to be very real with the money we spent. We bought normal things, but like we didn't buy clothes while we were there. I mean, we were only there for a couple weeks, so there was stuff we didn't have to buy.
We bought ice cream one day.
We bought ice cream one day. We went to, you can watch it on one of our videos, but we were going through a little town and they had a little old-fashioned ice cream shop. And so we went in and we bought one large sundae that we shared as a family. So that was like $8.
Yep.
And then another day we went to a local coffee shop that was Christian run. It was called Cup Runneth Over. And if you're in Sweetwater, Tennessee, you should go down there.
Totally.
Cup Runneth Over. And
Really
we
nice.
got a like frozen vanilla latte something
Something or other.
coffee thingy.
Coffee
And
with sweetness.
We got a smoothie, a fruit smoothie for the kids to share. So that was a total of like $11 or something on that day. But those are things we might have done here around town. That wasn't specifically because we were on vacation, but it was something we don't do all the time.
No.
So I'm going to count it as vacation cost.
Yep.
And then the other extra we did was our friends were supposed to come see us. Our friends were supposed to come see us while we were in Tennessee. They live about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Live about an hour and a half away. Well, they had some damage in their home and had to do some home repairs. And insurance was paying for some of it, but the money for insurance to stay at a Airbnb was running out and their home stuff wasn't fixed. And so we decided, like last minute, we're going to go to their house and help with the home repair.
Like Saturday night about 10 p.m. We're like, we're going to come the Monday
It was
morning.
like 5 p.m. because our friends were still there.
Oh, that's true. That's
So it was like 5 p.m. But it was like Saturday night, 5 p.m.
Yep.
And I said, I'll bring lunch for everybody and we'll come and do that. Well, the problem was 5 p.m. happened. We had some kid issues that we had to deal with that took the rest of the night. So I wasn't able to even think
No
the rest of the night.
preparation.
Woke up the next morning and I had a migraine. So
For
getting
church
to
on
church was
Sunday.
hard, and it was the day. So this is Saturday night. We're gonna go to church Sunday. Monday we were supposed to do all our packing, and Tuesday we were gonna leave. Well, we decided to go help this friend on Monday.
So we left the house at
So I had a bad headache all day
Early.
Sunday. So I was like, I just have to take what we have in the house. But we're at the end of our trip, so I don't have that much food. So ended up we took chicken taco stuff.
Yep.
We had all the stuff to take chicken tacos. Oh, and while we were down there, we had friends bless us with food. but helped with our food on the way back because we have friends that he works at like a discount store place. If you know Naturally a Deal, they're all over the country, I guess. But check it out. Check out if you have a Naturally a Deal if you're in the Tennessee, Kentucky area. I think there are probably other places.
Yeah.
But you can buy like really cheap granola bars and chips and all this stuff. So anyway, with some of the contributions we had from them and some of the stuff I had in the fridge, I was able to take chicken tacos for everybody. But we didn't have supper because I hadn't been able to go shopping, the headache, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we left their house and we stopped at a Little Caesars. If you like in Maine, we don't have Little Caesars. So people probably don't know what I'm talking about. But Little Caesars is a chain pizza place and they have hot and ready pizzas. So you can just walk in and they have pizzas ready. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, if you want a pepperoni or a cheese pizza, you can pretty much walk in and get it.
So we walked in and grabbed pizzas because it was like, I don't know, we left their house at like 5 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Had an hour and a half home, but it also had a time change.
Yeah.
It was like a crazy day.
Yep.
But it was
And the sun
so
was starting to
worth
go
it
down. Yeah.
to see those friends.
We had
So
to drive
worth
home
it.
in the dark. That wasn't.
Yeah.
The last 20 miles in the dark and the little windy roads and Podunkville,
Virginia lives
Tennessee.
on a... Anyway, but it was so worth it to do, and I'm glad we just stopped and spent the money to buy that pizza. But that was something we wouldn't have normally done here.
Right. And
But...
that increased our gas outlay a little bit too. But like, if we're going to count all of our trip, then we're counting all of our trip.
Right.
Every bit we spent.
So that I'm not saying we never buy last minute emergency food here. That sometimes happens, but it happened. It happened there.
Yep.
And so what else? That was our last day there. So then we went from there to our friend's house where I said we had the Airbnb. That is in the Elizabethton area of Tennessee. And you can find that. We'll try to put a link down below.
I'm gonna have to put some links in this one. Somebody remind me of the links.
But we had a lot of fun with those friends, and they ended up feeding us a meal, and we offered to feed them 2 meals because we were able to do that.
Yeah.
And we actually had a place to do that this time because every other time we visited them, we visit them just for like a day trip. We get there, 10 o'clock in the morning, leave at like 5 o'clock in the evening.
Or we're in their own space
and we're
free to say, I'll cook
right.
in your kitchen.
Or when we
And
park
we're
in
in
the
their
camper,
space.
like, hey, we don't have any electricity, but we'll bring you supper somehow.
So anyway, we didn't, we've never been able to feed them before, but we were able to, because we had the Airbnb, we were able to feed them. So that was great.
Yeah.
So we fed
just
another
got to
family
visit one
during that
evening,
time,
and
which was
then the
good.
whole next day. That was really good.
And then
Good
we
visit.
left there and went back to the friends in Pennsylvania, where we stayed a night, spent the whole next day with them, including going shopping at BB's, which is a discount
Yay!
store. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area, go to BB's. We'll just tell you all the discount food stores because we don't have them in Maine. If you have an Aldi near you, go to an Aldi. Anyway, we stayed with the friends in Pennsylvania, and then we came home.
Yep.
And while we were in...
Which was another 13 and a half hours.
Yes, while we were in those places, we purchased food. So that's one way we save money on the trip, is we purchase food to eat on the car trip days. Even though we purchase food that isn't exactly what we would eat on a day-to-day basis at home, we purchase some funner
Comparable
food.
in price.
It's comparable in price, and it's much cheaper than stopping at fast food or stopping at a gas station or anything like that. Anytime you have to stop and purchase food from fast food or a gas station, it's putting your price way up. Way more than you would spend even if you bought the exact same food at like Walmart planned out. It's cheaper.
Yep.
So like we went to BB's our last day in Pennsylvania, and we bought some granola bars. We have a video of that, but we bought some granola bars, we bought some cheese, we bought some pepperonis,
And coffee.
and coffee,
And like smoothie drink. What do they
Right.
call those?
like the
Naked.
naked
They're
juice.
called naked. I don't know what it's called. That like it's nothing but juice.
But anyway, so we bought food along the way. So our food expense for the trip did not exceed. It was actually a little cheaper than the food we would have spent here.
Right. So that's
at our
actually a
house.
net gain.
So
we actually saved money.
We actually saved
by
money.
eating
But we're
somewhere
not
else.
worried about that because I did not have all the receipts. But I do know that it was not as much as we would have spent here.
Yep.
Um,
I looked at all of our, because we use one. That's part of what we do is every month we have one credit card. We use that credit card for pretty much every expense, and then we pay it off at the end of every month.
Right.
So that works well. for us. What was I saying about that? Why did I bring
I don't
that
know.
up?
We have the credit card. You were looking at the receipts.
Oh, looking at the receipts. Yes, I was able to look at the receipts from when we went to Aldi, when we went to Walmart, those kind of things too.
Oh, I
And
forgot
those are
that would
very-
be on Aldi.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
So those are very typical for your average month. Like the credit card bill was not more this month, except for
Gas and tolls.
which is approximately $647. Let's say $650. And that's gas, that's tolls, that's everything. And the food was actually a little bit less than the average month, but let's
So
just say it's
during
on
that
average.
time, we typically would have spent about $150 on gas
Yep.
for our drives to church,
Yep.
our drives to doctor's appointments, all the appointments and things we would have had.
Yep.
Library, all the stuff over that time.
Yep.
So we spent approximately $500 on a
Like
3-week
extra.
vacation. Where we got to see lots of friends. We got to have lots of Christian fellowship.
Got to hold grandbaby an awful lot.
Got to hold grandbaby an awful lot. And it was great.
Yeah.
And so if you have more questions about how we save money on vacations,
Drop in the
That's what we
comments.
do.
We
Yeah.
we answer questions around here.
we do. Mark's usually the one answering questions because he tends to see them and deal with them faster than I do.
If you're looking for advice or you ask something about like home education, curriculum, stuff like that, she's going to answer those things.
Yeah, but if you're
But
asking
if it's just a
to-
matter of where did you get that thing or what's the name of that place,
Put the link
or,
on.
Yeah, like can you put the link on there? That's usually me. So I handle the easy ones.
he tells me when there's questions for me to answer.
Yep.
But anyway, let us know in the comments if you have more questions. But that's ways that we've learned to save money. And so we've been able to go places. While we're gone, we still have our expenses at home. For those who have watched our other video, we live and we rent from my mother, but we still pay her rent when we're gone.
Right.
Even if she fights it.
But like the light bill doesn't go up and down. We just take the whole thing over a year or so and split it up and
Right.
decide what we're gonna give
So
her.
it's not that I just wanted people to know
just
because if they
our
know
monthly occurrence.
if
is
you
the
know
same.
we're renting from my mom, it's not that we're using that money. This was just money on top of what our normal expenses
so
were.
$500 out of pocket.
I think people think we're mooching off mom, so I want them to know that we're still paying her fair share.
And she does eat dinner here, and I did install a new light for her today.
You installed a new light for her today, and we cleaned up the yard.
But
for
we
her.
had a good time. We're
Winter and
family.
everything.
We do stuff for each other. We don't expect things from each other. It's so weird to even have to explain that. Like, well, we helped out too. Like, we're family. Of course we helped out. Like, of course you feed people. Of
And I
course
think
that's what
Just as
family
Christians,
does.
we need to think more of how can I glorify God in this, and how can I grow in this or
What's the
benefit
matter,
from this.
bub?
Oh, did she turn it off?
Oh.
How can I grow from this,
Yes.
or how can we glorify God? How can we be building somebody else up, and those types of things, instead of what am I going to get back in this relationship?
Hey, look, there's a goodie.
Because if we spent our whole life,
No, cute boy.
I have a really best. If we spent our whole life trying to figure out what we could, like which people we can use in the right ways to get the things we want, it'd be a pretty miserable life.
That would be a pretty miserable life.
So I think we need to think more highly of other people.
The sad part is people think things like that because some people do treat other people poorly. So if you're a person that treats people poorly,
Don't do it.
stop it.
That's our advice for tonight.
Yeah,
Be
that's our
nice.
big video for tonight. Mark said stop it.
Our video tonight is go back to like the kindergarten rules and just be nice
Be
to
nice
people.
to people. Yeah.
Write nice comments here. Talk nicely to your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that you don't know what's going on in someone else's life, and so they might be acting in a grumpy way or something because something bad just happened. Like, let's just be nice.
Extend an awful lot of grace to one another.
And like my friend Mama Bear to Many says, you do you. Like there are things that are very clear in the Bible, like this is sin, don't do this. We've had a few incidents of the do not kill come up recently.
That was funny.
Well, it came up with Erica the other day too, because they'd been reading it too.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, so like there are things the Bible specifically says don't do this, but whether I choose to use my money to go on vacation or you choose to use your money to go out to eat, that's fine.
It's up to you.
Go ahead. Like, just let's be nice to each other. Don't be mad that I go on vacation. when you decide to use it on a different
We
thing.
just
And don't
choose
be
to
mad.
use our discretionary funds differently than, like, so if you spent $500 and then once a year did a trip like that, and that's the only time that you go out to eat or travel or any, like, if that's anything above and beyond expenditure, $500 a year is $42 a month. It's $40 a month. That's really not much. People spend more than that just for coffee.
But if we went out to eat, like some people do on vacation, we'd be able to vacation for about 12
8
hours.
seconds. And that's fine. If people have the money or want to choose to use their resources for that, that's great for them.
I think that's why people get confused on how we can vacation the way we do, but it's because when we vacation, we don't expect to eat every meal out.
We don't mind sleeping on floors.
We don't mind sleeping on floors.
We don't mind eating cold food. We don't mind living, eating out of a cooler or living in a camper, or because we get to see people. We get to see brothers and sisters in Christ. We get to see families. We get to see couples. We get to see people that we have been encouraged by and people that we can encourage, and we get to do that. And it doesn't cost us a ton of money, and I think everybo's benefited from it who's involved in it.
And if people vacation in a different way, that's totally cool. I just know that there are people who have said, we, live on one income, and so we, vacation just is not feasible for us. And maybe vacation is not feasible for you. We're just trying to give ideas of how vacation maybe could be more feasible for you.
Yes. We're looking at ways to make it more affordable. Right. And it may be that you just can't do it overnight. Maybe you can just afford the gas to drive someplace and you got to leave early in the morning. We've done that before. Hey, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Get in the car. We're going to drive somewhere. Daddy isn't going to tell you where. And then, 4 hours later, we're at the Canadian border. And,
this is before we knew Mama Bear to me.
And we didn't do anything either. Like, we just kind of
got a pizza.
we did get a pizza at Joe's Pizza in Calais there. And, so like, that was like $30 or something. At the time I was working, was I a CNA or was it the hospital? I think it was working at the hospital.
You were at the hospital.
So I was making decent money. Like, people laugh at how much money I used to make, but like, you could take $20 here, $30 there, a little bit extra gas, that kind of thing.
Inflation too.
Yeah, before inflation. This was this was years ago. But, and just enjoy stuff. Like, I asked the other day, so this is related. I asked on my Facebook the other day on my Mark Cowperthwaite account,
Mommy.
what would it cost to take your wife out for dinner, like for a date? And people had all sorts of answers. One person had answered, it was like $5 because you needed to buy some worms and some hooks.
So you could go fishing.
And like get a cup of coffee or something and just go fishing and just hang out together, which would be great. And other people were like, cost you at least $100. Or 300, or like people had numbers kind of in various places, and
that's awesome.
Multiple people pointed out it really depends on what you can afford. Like, whatever you can afford is what you should do. Don't spend more than you should. Don't be unwise with your money, but you could have a good time if you have the resource to do that, to do something different. That's great. That's all wonderful. But it just made us think about, a lot of times people say, you want to eat something special. For us, that might be making pizza at home. But what does that cost us to make all of our own pizza at home?
What does it cost?
Currently,
you're asking? Probably about $15.
About $15 to feed a family of 10 all the pizza we want to eat, and it's homemade. It's good quality stuff, right?
That was a guess off the top of my head, but that's fairly close.
It was like 11 3 years ago, so it's probably about 15 now. Yeah, back in the good old days, when things weren't terribly expensive. But we can help you. We want to encourage people by giving you ideas that could save money or just make life generally more pleasant when you travel, and to remind people to open your home to have people come stay with you. You can be a blessing to them even if they can't do anything for you in return.
Yes,
it's lots of fun.
Because that's the thing, is a lot of our vacation time is spent just being with people, and so if we can have people at our house and be able to just spend the time with them, then we're doing the same thing. We're just in our own surroundings. Totally. But if you want to come to us, and we house and feed people.
We do.
Yeah.
And we live near a bunch of lighthouses, if you like lighthouses.
You're being silly.
We're a couple hours from Acadia National Park.
Yeah. So anyway, so let us know if you have more questions. We're hoping that this was a benefit to somebody, or let us know if your family vacations this way.
Yeah.
Because maybe you
I don't think we're the only ones.
Some tips to other people who are looking for cheaper ways to vacation.
Yes,
people have asked us.
If you have other tips, put them in the comments.
Yeah. Taking a cooler and taking your own water.
Totally.
Big.
Yep. This was going to be a short video. We're looking at like 40 minutes.
You were in it.
Anytime we're in a video that I'm in, it goes like double long.
It does.
I
But
should
it's
stop.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I love you.
Love you.
So we. Yeah.
Oh, smooch on camera. Now we're in trouble.
Okay, so we're gonna put this little guy to bed. Yeah. You ready to go to bed?
Can you say goodnight?
Can you say goodnight?
Bye-bye.
He's too tired. He doesn't even know.
Oh,
We'll see you guys later on Hurting Little Cats to the Glory of God.
Bye.
Bye.